Hey everybody, this is Chef Wes Stepp from the Red Sky Cafe and NC Coast Grill and Bar right down here in Duck, North Carolina. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little insight to something that I've been blessed to be able to cook for the last over 30 years, which is fresh, local North Carolina seafood. Down here on the Outer Banks, besides the beautiful sunsets and sunrises and the beach, we got access to some of the greatest seafood in the world, and I've had the pleasure to be able to cook it. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a real quick dish, and we're going to start off with that. I got my saute pans hot. So if you're coming down to the Outer Banks and you're on vacation and you're coming from somewhere else and you love cooking and you want to take care of your family and you've rented one of these beautiful homes with the beautiful kitchens. One thing is I've cooked up and down the Outer Banks in some of the greatest homes there is up here in Corolla and Duck and Nags Head, and the kitchens are fantastic in some of these homes. I've found that they're pretty outfitted with pans and stuff like that. So if you're concerned, well, I don't know how the pans are when you're coming down there with the family to cook for everybody, the pans are generally great. All of the amenities, they really keep up with those quite well. Now I will say, one thing that great chef always likes is his knives, okay? Personally, my favorite brand is the Global knives, but anyway, always bring your own knives, okay? Because they do take a beating. So I always like to bring my own knives wherever I go, and that's really key when it comes to fresh seafood. Today, I've got a little bit of fresh mahi-mahi. I'm using a little smoked Hungarian paprika on that, a little bit of kosher salt or sea salt, either one. That's gonna create kind of a crust. And then I got my saute pan really hot. Now that's key. The do's and don'ts of seafood is, and we'll go over that when I show you some of the different kinds we got going on, but you don't want to overcook it, but then again, you don't want to undercook it. So technique plays a big role in success of your seafood dish for everybody when you're cooking for them down here on vacation. So anyway, we're going to get that started. I've got it crusted up. I'm going to cover it up so it'll cook a little bit quicker. There's a lot of great places to get seafood. I always like to shop local, okay, myself. So for me in the restaurants, we're gonna try to shop local. If you wanna take a day trip, you go down to O'Neill's Seafood if you're up here in the Northern Banks. It's down in Wanchese. You can see the fresh fish coming right off of the boats. Have a great lunch. They also have a seafood market down there as well. Up here, there's a lot of great seafood markets in the area. I bought all this stuff at Carawan Seafood, which is right across the bridge. One thing I wanted to show you was this is the fresh mahi that we're cooking. So the first thing is the do's and don'ts of cooking great seafood is making sure you pick out the right seafood. Mahi, rockfish, flounder, all local seafood. Seasonal, so depending on what time of the year you're coming down, check with the food mongers and find out, hey, what's running right now? You don't want to get some fish that's not running because you want to get the freshest product you can. I like to look at the whole fish, and it kind of gives you a signal to how the other fish, if you're buying them filleted, are gonna be. So for example, this fish right here has a really clear eye. It's a nice firm texture. So does this fish and this fish. You need to check the textures on the fish. If it's real mushy, your finger goes right in it, well then it's probably been sitting around a little bit too long. The eyes, if they get opaque, if they look like they're glassed over or something like that, that's been sitting around a little bit too long too. So get them with the really clear eyes. Now over here, we have fresh Gulf shrimp tuna. Now I have seared this on the outside. We serve this on both menus at Red Sky and NC Coast. This is seared rare tuna. So this is what a beautiful, rare piece of tuna looks like. Almost like meat because it's got a really nice bloody look to it. All of these three fish, if you got people that aren't like crazy about seafood or they're a little sketchy about it or they're like, oh, I don't really like seafood, the whitefish, the rockfish, the mahi, the flounder are very mild seafood. So some of your other stronger seafoods would be like cobia or wahoo. Those have a little bit more of the punch to them. You know, not that they're not good, they're great, but look at that. So I've got my fish. Now, that Smoked paprika is going to give that fish a little bit of a smoky flavor. The paprika also helps color it so it looks really nice and seared. There's no flour on there. I'm basically right now, that fish is still rare or raw in the middle. So what I'm going to do is just recover it. Now, if I was in my kitchen, what we do, and a trick for you guys, is sear it on one side to lock in that juices and the flavors, and then finish it in a preheated 350 degree or 400 degree oven. Okay, once you sear it on one side, you can finish it in the oven. When you finish it in the oven, you don't really have to worry about it too much overcooking. It'll take about 10 minutes or so. You just check it periodically and boom, you're done. That is one of the tricks we use in the kitchen that you can use at home, and it helps you out a lot. Over here we also have Wanchee sea scallops. You'll see those coming in off the boats down there. That's a beautiful ocean scallop. That's a large count. Now, a lot of people overcook these. If you'll look right here, you'll see it all looks white, but you'll see it's a little bit of a add-on to this scallop. That is where they actually attach to the shell. So what we do is we always, yes, you can clean your scallops. You take that off because it tends to get a little tough and rubbery. I'm gonna hit these scallops with just a little bit of kosher salt and a little bit more of the paprika. We're seasoning them the same way. Now, my fish, I'm gonna add just a touch more olive oil. You could use coconut oil, you can use whatever oil you really want to use. Different oils have different burn temperatures, and I'm just gonna lay those scallops right in the pan. Season side down, season the back with just a little bit of the salt. The fish is right about there, okay? So as long as we've been on here so far, this is how long it's taken for me to do my fish. I'm gonna cover them back up, simulating that oven technique I was telling you about, and we're gonna let that stuff cook down. Now, what I'm gonna be cooking for you today is gonna be a light and healthy dish, okay? So basically what we're gonna be doing is a coconut curry broth. So easy to make, nice to have in your fridge. I just basically boiled down some sweet peppers, some ginger, some curry, a little bit of brown sugar. I added coconut milk and just let it simmer, and then I take out all the excess veggies. Boom, coconut curry broth. I've got sweet potatoes and pearled onions and butternut squash, fresh pineapple mixed with fresh curry tuck tomatoes, a little bit of scallions, cilantro. This is a mojo sauce, which is almost like chimichurri, except it's got a little bit more citrus in it. If you don't know what chimichurri is, it's a cilantro and garlic based sauce, cilantro, garlic, parsley, really green, really nice. Fresh parsley, little sunflower, micros. I'm gonna take my fish out, let it set for a minute, and check my scallops. Let's see how they look. Oh yeah, nice and browned on one side. Okay, one thing about scallops is you do not want to overcook those things. Okay, so they're not going to take very long. Remember that when you take them off, they might be a little bit medium rare in the center, but as they set, they continue to cook, okay? The last thing you want to do is cook the heck out of your scallops and they're like BBs at the end of the day. That's why people don't like scallops. The tuna, if you go to your local restaurants, they may ask you if you order the tuna dish, if you see a tuna on the menu, they might ask you what the temperature is. Now, if you're from somewhere that doesn't have indigenous, used to eating fresh seafood all the time, you're like, what are they talking about? I'm used to getting a temperature on my steak, but not on my tuna. So this tuna is rare. There's medium rare, and then there's medium. I wouldn't go beyond that. When you cook tuna to well done or something like that, oftentimes what I do is just make tuna salad out of that. But that's just me and my preferences. But anyway, well done tuna tends to get really dry really quick, and it's got really chewy. So generally speaking, rare to medium rare is a great way to get it served. Flounder, rockfish, mahi, whitefish, generally never gonna take temperatures. They want it cooked all the way through. So it's nice and flaky. Okay, so our scallops are over here. They're done. So I'm just gonna put them over here, let them rest for a second. And while I do that, add a little bit more of the olive oil. I'm gonna add my butternut squash, pearl onions, sweet potato. Now, that's not raw, so I cut those up and I roasted them off in an oven, 350 degrees for probably about 20 minutes. I add a little olive oil, a little salt and pepper on top of them. And I'm gonna season that with just a little bit more of the kosher salt and fresh cilantro. And I didn't cut it up. I want them to see the leafy greens. Being that it's already been roasted in the oven, it takes no time to saute. So, if you're cooking for a large group, sear your fish, sear your scallops, put them on a sheet pan, get ready to reheat them for service or whenever you're actually serving everybody. You can do that earlier in the oven, finish it off. Just don't overcook it. So I'm gonna stick that in the bowl. Still using the same pan. I'm gonna heat up my coconut curry broth. And we'll start plating this dish. Now, I'm gonna put my mahi down first. Let's go ahead. Of course, I wouldn't do this, but you see how nice and light and flaky that is? That's cooked all the way through. It pulled right apart with my tongs. It's still got the moistness you can see in there. Boom. The smokiness and a little bit of salt on top of it. The coconut curry broth. We're gonna actually just go around so it gets and marries with all our veggies. If you have somebody that's a vegan at your dinner table, basically the coconut curry broth and the vegetables, now you got them taken care of as well. So then I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of the mojo sauce. That's gonna give it a little bit of that citrus bite. Dueling scallops, pan seared on one side, flipped over, cooked for about a minute, minute and a half, and then we finish it with a little bit of the fresh salsa. Wow, if you got a really light dish, you got a healthy dish. Now we've learned a lot about seafood. One thing that, for me, every chef's got probably one or two or several mantras, but my mantra is the first bite's taken with your eyes. So if you're cooking for the family and you want to impress them and you're going, I can do it, and then, but you're like, okay, I really want to do it. Take that extra little time you got and do something fun with garnishes while you're hanging around during the day. One of the easiest ones, the first ones I ever learned was, of course, lemon, lime, citrus of all different things are great accompaniments to fresh local seafood or any seafood. But one thing that I always like to do is just make a cut straight down, just like you're doing diamonds or triangles all the way around the lemon. Make sure you cut all the way through each time so you don't get it stuck in the center. And just go all the way around. You can do this way earlier in the day when you're looking for something to do while everybody's watching TV or going to the beach. And just do it with 3 or 4. Go ahead and garnish this beautiful thing up. So now you've got a lemon crown. We're gonna finish it off with a little bit of sunflower seeds. Bang, there you go. I'm telling you what, beautiful, healthy dish. Oh, you know what? I always like to take that curry, coconut curry cream, if you wanna make it a little bit, just finish it off with just a little dribble. This is a pecan rum from Kill Devil Rum, another local distillery down here. So anyway, if you're coming from out of town, needless to say you probably are, I want to invite you to one of the best places in the entire world that you're going to be bringing your family. We've got the freshest local seafood, we've got the beautiful beaches, we've got a lot of great companies down here that are giving you the local flavors and the local flair. The Outer Banks of North Carolina welcomes you, and we really look forward to spending a vacation with you guys. So anyway, mahi, mojo, fresh wanchi scallops, coconut curry, pecan rum to finish. Just one of the many dishes of all the local flavors you're gonna get when you come to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Looking forward to seeing you.